Hi everyone, it's Kate from The Fold Line. I am back with the sew down. Now, I haven't done one of these for quite a long time. I've got so much to talk to you about, and for anyone who hasn't come across it before, it's a roundup of stuff that we've listened to, read, some exhibitions, basically interesting things in and around the world of sewing that we think you guys will like. And I thought, as it's the bank holiday weekend, this might be quite a nice little time. If you've got a bit of extra time to yourself, some stuff to kind of go and explore while you're doing a bit of sewing. So let's start with things to read. First up, I've got this amazing article from the New Craft House. So Hannah and Rosie were in the Times this week, which is so exciting. I love seeing it's amazing seeing someone you know in such a big publication, and it's a really interesting article about how they use ex-designer kind of surplus fabrics within their business. If you haven't come across them before, which I'm sure most of you have, that's their speciality. So they just sell ex-designer fabrics, and they've always got quite limited runs of things. So the fabric that you get, you're not going to see anywhere else. But yeah, go and have a read. It's such a great. I was really excited to see them. So I'll pop a link to the article, but I'll also pop a link to their website as well. So if you are on the look for some fabric and you haven't had a look at their website for a while or before, go and check it out. So next up, we have got I've got a few books. So the first one is a new book from Alison Smith called The Tailoring Book. I can't remember when it came out, but it's in the last few months. Now, anyone who's come to the Sewing Weekends before will know that Alison Smith is an amazing couture teacher. She teaches loads and loads of techniques. She's really lovely and great at her job. This book looks absolutely fantastic. I'm going to pop a link to the publisher's site because it's got lots of pictures of the inside of the book so you can get an idea. She goes through different fabrications and lots of kind of tailoring obviously the book is called Tailoring, but like old school tailoring techniques that you would use for garment making. It looks very clear. Everything is pictured step by step. It's like a real sort of source book, but it is just laid out really nicely. And I often find those sort of source books really hard to follow, but these look really great, and I love that they're photographs as well, because I find that almost easier than an illustration. I think it's really wonderful. So if you are thinking about, I don't know, you've got a birthday coming up or something, this looks like a really lovely book. It's on their thing for £25 apparently, but I think probably if you go and find it other places, it might not be as expensive. So the next book is actually one that I've just finished reading, and it's called How to Make a Dress by Jenny Packham. It's a memoir. Jenny Packham is like an iconic designer. I think mainly known for her bridal wear, but she also does a lot of occasion wear as well. But it is a really great book, and it's quite nostalgic, and I love hearing about she writes really nicely. So if you are, this to me is like a really lovely present for like a crafty friend, because it's not too crafty, but I love memoirs. It's a really great, you kind of find out how she set up and the journey of her life. It's a really great book, so I'd highly, highly recommend that one. The next one is a book that I think loads of people will really love. It's called Worn. I'm not sure when it came out actually. I think it's been out a while. So if I read what they've said, because I think they have described it much better than I would. From the women who transformed stalks of flax into linen to clothe their families in 19th century New England, to those who earned their dowries in cotton spinning factories of South India, this book traces the origins of garments making through time and around the world, exploring the social, economic and environmental impact of our most personal possessions. And it's looking at it through 5 different fabrics. So I haven't actually read this, but I thought this looked really fascinating. It's got lots of great reviews, and I thought it would be right up everyone's street. So last book. Now this book has popped up loads and loads. We've got a Facebook group, a very, very active Facebook group of people who talk all together, kind of talking about sewing, what they're making, people asking for help. It's really lovely. I'll pop a link to it if you were interested. But this book, and I haven't read it, pops up so many times that I felt like I had to include it this time because everyone talks about what a great book it is, and it's called The Sewing Machine by Natalie Fergie. It's a novel, but everyone says it's kind of really feel good and fun and, you know, obviously very on brand for us all. So that is there for you if you'd like it. Then last book I've got, sorry, there are so many. This book is relatively new. It's called Big Dress Energy by Shaquilla Forbes Bell. I thought this was quite interesting as someone who makes. So the concept of it is kind of looking at how you shop and picking items for your wardrobe and thinking about things in a sort of different way. But I liked, you know, obviously most people are making not all of their clothes but a chunk of their clothes. I thought this was an interesting kind of way to think about what you're bringing into your household, and obviously we're bringing it in a different way. It comes in fabric and a pattern, and then we make it, but obviously, you know, same deal. But I thought this looked quite an interesting book, so if you haven't come across it yet, it's definitely worth going and having a look at. So next up, we have got some stuff to watch, and there's some really nice things. So first things first, Emily in Paris is back on Netflix. If you haven't watched it before, it's a kind of, go and start from the beginning. It's a visual feast. The outfits in it are incredible. The cast is beautiful. It's very light-hearted, a bit silly, but very, very addictive, and I really, really love it. So I have only watched the first episode of this series, but it is a visual feast. And yes, if you haven't seen, it's back on, so that is very exciting. So next up on Netflix is a public service announcement. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which I spoke about a while ago, is now showing on Netflix, so you can watch it there for free if you have Netflix. This is a really lovely, again, another feel-good film, definitely worth going and watching. It's about a very kind of working class lady who decides that she's going to save up all her money and go and buy a couture dress at Dior in Paris. And it was just really lovely and very kind of light-hearted. I watched it of a Saturday evening and really enjoyed it. So that is there if you'd like. A fantastic documentary on Disney about Diane von Furstenberg. I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list of things to watch. So if you haven't seen that I think that would be really great. She's such a kind of powerhouse, and I think she'll do a really great kind of documentary. So that is worth checking out. And then, is this the last? Yes, last of the things to watch. This is a really great YouTube video from Tara Dayton, and she has done a series of I think she did it on social media first and then has moved it onto YouTube, but she's talking about Georgia O'Keeffe as a sort of style icon and looking at her wardrobe, and it was really lovely to watch. She explains it beautifully. She shows you lots of kind of pictures. It's a really greatly done video, and if you are interested in Georgia O'Keeffe, you're going to love this because it's nice to kind of see the person behind the paintings. So yeah, it's definitely worth. I watched it and really loved it. So it's there for you guys. Then stuff to go and see some exhibitions. I'm sorry, these are actually all London centric at the moment. There's just from, you know, it varies from time to time. So the Barbie exhibition at the Design Centre, apparently it's on my list of things to go and see, is really wonderful. It's on until the 23rd of February next year, so you've got a really long time to kind of book a ticket to come and see it. But I think it will be amazing and fun, and I think, yes, it'll be really good. It looks really kind of bright and colourful, as you would expect. I think it's something that would be nice for, you know, to take kids to as well. So yeah, that is there. The Fashion and Textile Museum, with only a couple more weeks, the Bieber story. So an exhibition of Bieber is on until the 8th of September. So if you are around in London, that will be, I think, really great. I mean, the Fashion and Textile Museum always have incredible things on. And then the V&A has got the Taylor Swift songbook trail, which is definitely worth going and seeing. So you've got some of her iconic outfits are on display. I think that's until the 8th of September as well. So there's a little bit of time to go and watch that. Go and see that if you want to. I think it is pretty popular as well. So it might be worth waiting until all the children have gone back to school and then going in that week before it closes. Then, event. This is kind of within the knitting and stitching show, which I know many of you go to. Just a public service announcement that it is on this year in Ali Pali. It's the 10th to the 13th of October. So if you do want to go, you can book tickets. For anyone who hasn't been before, it's a really great day out. It's full of sewing businesses selling fabrics, patterns, sewing machines, everything sort of in and around sewing. There's exhibitions there, there's talks, there's usually, I don't know whether there will be, there's usually like a fashion show as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's a really great day out. And if you want to go and like, I know lots of people kind of save up their pocket money and go and buy like big, so it's quite a fun day out if you could get a kind of group of you together. But also I've gone on my own and had a really nice time just wandering around looking at everything. So yeah, I think I will try and go to that on one of the days as well. So now, stuff to listen to. Now before I get into this, I would really like, is anyone listening to some good podcasts? Now anyone who's watched this before knows that I am quite into true crime, but I'm open to anything. I'm finding like I haven't found loads of podcasts this time. There's only 3 things I've got to talk to you about, and I usually have way more. So if there's anything that you are really enjoying, please will you share down below, because it's really nice to find some new stuff. So first up is a particular episode of a podcast. It's called Sideways, and it's the art of unfinishing. So this was, again, something within the Facebook group that we found, and it was such a lovely episode. I listened to it and it made me feel like really emotional. And it's talking about basically, obviously, like not finishing projects. And there's this amazing story within it, and I'll read it out. A pair of avid knitters decided to search for strangers to help finish an incomplete blanket that their bereaved friend's mother had started. It kick-started a movement of finishers, people around the world who complete half-knitted works left behind by others. Their concept challenges the idea that we are successful only when we finish what we start, an idea entrenched in our present culture. Which, I mean, that's enough, isn't it? You're hooked. It's a great episode, so definitely go and have a listen to it. Then we've got a podcast series which is in the true crime, I guess, it's really great. So it's from Tortoise Media, who do fantastic podcasts. If you haven't kind of come across them before, go and have a look, because there's 12 series, and each series is a different story where they investigate, and they are big investigative stories. You know, they take this one, I think took 4 years to do, and it's about a therapist who takes advantage of quite young girls and kind of brainwashes them, and it's the girls talking about it and what their experiences are. It's quite interesting. I really liked it. It took a couple of episodes to get into it, but it's definitely worth a listen. I really enjoyed it. The other podcast that I'm absolutely loving at the moment is Miss Me on BBC Sounds. This is with Mikita Oliver and Lily Allen. Anyone who is around my age, 40, will feel it's a very nostalgic listen. They're similar ages to me, and like I grew up watching Mikita on TV. Obviously Lily Allen was then very popular when I was and they're really great together. They've known each other since they were little. They've got really interesting topics that they talk about. They're both super bright, and I absolutely love it. I kind of look forward to it each week. It's really great. So it's quite like some of the things, they kind of move between like quite light-hearted and deep topics. They're very funny, and I think it's quite Marmitey. Either you'll love it or you'll hate it, but if you are looking for something and you haven't tried this, it's great. So that is everything from me this week. I hope that's given you some stuff to kind of get your teeth stuck into, and I hope you have a really fab bank holiday. Bye.